Hey guys, welcome back to the Silent Sales Machine Radio podcast. I'm your host for this episode, Ryan Rieger. Today we're chatting with a Legends member. He's a friend of mine. His name is Michael Beard. He has a whatever it takes attitude, and he has had to employ that to get over the obstacles that he's had in his business. But he recently just hit the $1 million mark for sales in a year. So this is an awesome episode. He's got a lot of practical information on what he's doing in his business, how he got there, some of the things he's had to overcome. So this will be our encouragement to you guys. Here's my interview with Michael. All right, Michael, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. So glad to have you on, my friend.
Well, thank you, Ryan. It's an honor, Lord, that you would ask me to do something like this. It's really cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, you posted in our Legends group that you had hit $1 million in sales for the year, which is incredible, by the way. Most people don't even dream of those numbers. So I want to dig into that, but that's what prompted me. So congratulations, first of all, for hitting that number. That is awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That it means a lot. And we were super excited, to hit that. And our team was, kind of watching, for that to happen. And day by day, we knew we were getting.
Were you hitting refresh on the?
Yeah. I think you can see on the post, somebody made the comment that my battery was dying. So, yeah, I mean, it's truly an honor, to be here this morning with you on this. And, over the years, I've heard, even starting off, you hear all the success stories, you read the success stories, and you just think to yourself, man, wow, that would be cool to be there, someday. And
yeah,
and it's a struggle each and every day,
Sure.
to fight through all the obstacles, to get there. So, we're all kind of pinching ourselves that we actually made it this far. And, what's next for us and the team. So,
yes.
we started this thing back in 2015. No, I'm sorry. The business itself, I started in 2008.
Okay. That's the year I moved from a job to selling online. So that's cool. We're in that same.
Yeah. You know what? I'm almost positive that I bid on that same auction.
Did you really?
Yeah.
In 2012?
Yeah. There was no way I was going to get up there. That was too much for my blood at the time.
Oh man, it was a lot for me too. That was a huge step of faith. My goodness.
Yeah. And that's what this business really is a lot of times. I mean, in any type of business that you kind of start, I mean, it is a huge leap of faith, to step out there and, and take that risk.
Yeah.
We started in 2008 with Jim Cochran. We did some coaching.
Okay.
We had found a little bit of success there on eBay. We were doing a lot of auctions and quickly found that was really tough. That was a lot of work to go out there and find those items, do the research, bring them back, clean them up, make a listing for eBay for one sale.
Yep.
You have to rinse and repeat that.
And that's okay if your profit margins are a ton for each one.
Yeah. And they're good. And the profit margins usually are pretty good on something like that. But again, it just, I don't know, it was a grind. And I was working, a full-time job as a chef.
Okay.
And that's a grind in itself. That was really long hours, working weekends and holidays. Didn't get to spend a lot of times with the kids as they were growing up. And that was, one of the driving factors at the time to just get into this business, was to be able to come home and spend that time, with the family.
That's awesome. Real quick, you said something there. I want to get back to your story, but how did you find time? Because that's an excuse some people have, and it can be a legitimate excuse because you're busy. You got life. You were a chef and working, I don't even know how many hours a week, but a lot. You guys work hard as chefs. How did you find the time to do this strategically or practically? When did you find the time to fit all this in?
Well, that was the thing why it kind of took so long. We started in 2008. We're 2020 now.
Yeah.
That really sparked then actually the true growth and success of what we had. I mean, it was all about a mindset.
Okay.
And I kind of shared this a little bit in the post, but it was in 2017 finally. I was at switched jobs there back in 2009, 2010, something like that, and I started working with a golf course company that builds golf courses, and they they manage golf courses across the United States, and I came on as their corporate chef.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time, and it looked really promising as a career path and growth, and it was finding some success there. But they kept kind of dangling a carrot out there in front of me. And I kept chasing that, and it wasn't really ever going to come true. And, you get a counseling statements every once in a while for your job performance or whatever. And my uncle, he's in the financial world, and he shared that they call it a haircut when you get one of those counseling deals, right? And so I like to joke now that they cut my hair too short that day. And it really just kind of upset me to the fact that it was like, okay, now I really have the motivation. And it was working, round the clock almost. I mean, I was up bright and early, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Worked for 3 or 4 hours before I'd go to work, put that day in, and then spend a couple more hours at night. And it was constant, for a solid year to get really some growth, get some traction and be able to start actually grow it. So it was just that mindset of, I don't care, whatever it takes, I'm going to do this.
Whatever it takes. Wow. I'm writing that down because
it's just not easy. I mean, there's nothing about it. I mean, everybody is different, and and their stories are different, but we all get all these obstacles that come up.
Sure.
And whether I'm too tired, and I used to use that a lot. When I have the time off from work, I mean, I need a break. I mean, I don't want to work on the business now. I just worked 7-10 days in a row, long hours. We had lots of things going on, and now I want to go fishing.
Yeah.
Do I really want to go fishing, or do I want to build this business so someday I don't have to work those 7 to 10 day stretches anymore?
That's right. So that you can go fishing later every day of the week if you want to.
Right. Yeah. So it was really that mindset, and my wife carried it along for the longest time. I mean, I couldn't have done it without my wife. I mean, she's created a lot of listings. She did a lot of that work with eBay, and I kind of pushed the envelope because it was like, we need to get on Amazon. We need to get on Amazon.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do one more thing right now. Like, okay, I'll do it. I'll figure this out.
So you were selling on eBay. Where were you finding your inventory for eBay?
We were doing a lot of drop shipping, which kind of got us in trouble because they don't always keep track of everything,
Sure.
So that was kind of difficult, and a couple of garage sales here and there, but and it was just a trickle. We weren't doing a whole lot at that point. So,
so when did you move into Amazon?
It was like late in 2015, and we only probably had a couple of sales then in 2015. So really 2016 was our first full year of doing
2016,
business.
Your first full year, and now middle of 2020, you've hit $1 million for the year. That, I mean, you might think, oh wow, that took you forever, but that seems fairly fast to me.
I mean, awesome. It was forever from when we first started the business, but when we first really got going with Amazon, it was like, okay, here we go. We're going to do this, and it was really kind of embracing too. Then my field of expertise, I guess, if you will. I was trying to do all these other things, find products, that I didn't really know anything about. And I started then finally, looking at grocery, with being a chef. And, that really kind of then was able for us to really kind of take off.
Okay, so you transitioned from eBay to Amazon late 2015, and your first full year of Amazon was 2016. And so you started off with, you said you started off with products you didn't really, you were just kind of scanning whatever and going after whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first thing. I was so scared too when I first went out to scan that first thing. It was a little filter, in the clearance aisle, and it was like, I don't know, like $1 or $2 or something. And, I really didn't have the money to spend on it, an extra $40. So, I mean, will this work? Will I be able to sell it? Will I be able to get my $40 back? Will I make any profit? And, still remember that to this day. I mean, just those.
Did you buy those?
What's that?
You bought those filters?
Yep. I bought those filters. They sold, and gave me a little confidence. And then, went out to Nebraska Furniture Mart here in Nebraska. And I had a $75 gift card. And I think I spent like 3 hours in there. in their clearance area and bought some rain chains, and
Uh-huh.
they sold really well, and I went back and then cleared them out, and they sold really fast.
Wow.
We were hitting the road running then at that point, but I still hadn't really kind of made that transition, to groceries. I was still just trying to find whatever I could.
Finding clearance, yeah.
Toys and games and you name it. Everybody asked me, what kind of things do you sell? What's your category? I'm like, whatever I can find.
Yep.
It doesn't make any difference, whatever I can find. So, then I started really, started looking at grocery, and was able to set up an account with a national distributor because I'd had a long, history of working with them as a chef for, 30 years.
Brilliant. You went for your low-hanging fruit, guys. I love that he said this, because what do you have access to that nobody else does or very few other people do? Michael and I can both go into a Walmart right now and find the exact same item, but so can millions of other Amazon sellers. He just hit on something that's probably one of the major keys of this whole podcast here, or one of the major takeaways, is there something that you have access to? When I talk to people, I ask them, what is your low-hanging fruit? Do you already have relationships with a wholesale company, or where you work at right now? Do you have relationships with people that have physical products? So I love that you said that, because that is something unique to you. I don't even know. It would probably be very hard for me to call up that distributor and get an account, right?
It would. And then, and kind of the second part of that, because of the relationship and knowing kind of how the company works, and the different pricing structures that they, impose upon brand new accounts, brand new restaurants and whatnot. Yep. Until you have those track records and they can get you then on some better deals. I was, able to go immediately to, some of their lower pricing tiers.
Love it.
That relationship.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
And then the second part that kind of grows off of that is out of, the My Silent Team, the book. What's the name of the book? Is it called My Silent Team? The book?
The Silent Sales Machine.
Silent Sales Machine. The question in there, if your customer likes this and is buying this product, what else would they be interested in? And that's then where a lot of our products kind of stem off of. I've got this product that's working, so what is related to this product that somebody else would be interested in?
Yeah.
And that's spurred a lot of our growth, and a lot of our different product ideas and new listings that we've been able to have some great success with over the years.
Wow. So is your main business then still working with that same distributor and other distributors, or what's it look like now?
Yeah, we've kind of added a couple of more, and then I do like to take the path that as few as people are on. That's a little bit more difficult. So we're breaking into a lot of Asian products now, the Asian supermarkets, and setting up an Asian distributor. And those are some really great profit margins that we're finding with that in that area. One of the stories I like about what we've done, the Asian market was very difficult to kind of get into because I'm not Chinese or Philippines or Vietnamese. I can't read any of the packaging on the labels. Either. But the Amazon scanner, the seller app with the visual scanner, I use that a lot.
Okay.
And I wasn't really expecting it, when I went in there, but that's what we started using, and I was surprised it was working. It was great,
Wow, so you would go into an Asian grocery store and just use just scan the photos or scan the actual item with the picture scanner?
Yep, just the visual scanner. And so I found a product, and it came up, but it wasn't the right product. It was a different product. And I was like, well, this thing looks like it's selling really good for a pretty good profit. So we decided to do a new listing on that, and found a couple other items that were different brands of the same type of product. And so then we probably have 10 listings between multi-packs and bundles, all with this one product. And and we're selling 200-300 units between those 10 listings a month.
Wow.
And probably bringing 150 to 200% on the ROI.
Incredible.
just from the visual scan and just asking, that same question, if they're interested in this, would they be interested in this one, a different brand,
Yes.
or same type of a product? It's a little bit different. I mean, that's happened multiple different times. I brought home something that I thought was, A, and I get home and looked at it and was like, well, that's not the right product. It's close, but it said no sugar in there, and I can't read it. So my wife Michelle was like, well, I'll create a listing on that, and sure enough, it took off. We're the only seller on it. We sell about 80 units a month. Being able to get that then in case packs.
Yeah.
So
wow, that is awesome. That's something that you might not have had a chance to watch it, but I did an Ask the Experts panel with Kate and Leanna in the Legends group just earlier this week, and that was one of Kate's strategies was if most of the people aren't going into a store and saying, "Oh, I don't see this product on Amazon. Let's grab it and let's create a listing." You could do that. That's kind of risky because you're spending all this time creating a listing for something that, well, maybe people aren't looking for it anyway. But if you have a proven product, like let's say it's a coffee creamer, for example, and this one flavor, like all the flavors do really well, and then they come out with a brand new one. That brand new one's not on Amazon yet. Well, there's a very good chance that product's going to do well because all the other ones in that brand are selling well. So guys, that's where you might think about creating a listing, or there's probably going to be other people that do it. So just jump on it when they do it. If you're not a listing creation genius. But yeah, that's a good point is, dig deeper. And Kate said, dig deeper. Look, I'm selling this cup and it's been selling really well. Well, what else does this company make? Or is there a multi-pack? Is there a bundle with this? And so that's why if you just scan the barcode, you're not going to find those listings. That's why the visual scan is awesome, or typing in the item name or brand name. So,
yep. So now I've kind of gotten accustomed to that a little bit, and now I'm kind of doing it all as far as scanning. The visual was doing well, but now I'm doing the visual and doing the barcode and typing in things, and I'm finding more and more. Each time that I go out.
Are you finding also that I've heard a lot of sellers say that they're finding where they'll use different ways to search because it brings up different results. Like the Legendary Sourcing app brings up different things than the Amazon Seller app, and even the Amazon Buyers app. People are using that and finding different listings, or going on their desktop and going to Amazon.com and just act like you're a buyer and type these in. You'll come up with different results, which is frustrating because it would be nice to have it all in one place, but it just shows you that I don't know, for some reason that doesn't work.
I think that all leads to the beauty of really of being able to dig deep and finding the different paths, I guess, if you will. It is kind of easy to kind of fall in those ruts. I mean, as things get taught that and this is how you do something. But I think if you always kind of use that just as a base, you got that little bit of knowledge. Now, where else can I take that knowledge and go from there? And so, using the different methods, and even creating, I'm sure there's going to be more that are going to come out. I mean, just different methods on how to go about sourcing something.
Sure.
So, building those relationships in with the store owners. I mean, that's been a huge success, and you just never know when they're going to be in the store. I mean, they're hard to recognize. A lot of times you just think they're another customer or something.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you start those conversations and they're like, oh, wow, you're the owner. Hey, cool. All right. And so
nice to meet you.
Yeah. Exactly,
have you found, I know there's some stores that don't like us as resellers, but most do. Have you had any issues with people like, oh, you're a reseller, get out of my store?
No, get out of my store. No, I mean, Target's always kind of a difficult one,
Sure.
And then even in Walmart, sometimes, I'm asking, for a deal. There's, I want to clear the shelf or something. And the majority of the time, the managers are really willing to work with me.
Yeah. I've
only had one. And it was kind of funny because it happened in a store where I had talked to a different manager on a different product. And I think it was a Lego item. And they were already discounted at, like $5. And they had like 60 of them.
Okay.
And so, they gave me a deal and they gave it to me for like $3 a piece.
Wow.
And then I was in the store the next week on a different product, talked to a different manager, and he basically ran me off. He was mean.
Oh,
He
no.
didn't want anything to do with me. He's like, we don't do that. That's not fair for the rest of the customers.
Oh my gosh.
Like, okay, that's great. Okay, have a nice day.
That's right.
I'll move on.
Oh man. Oh well. You just move on.
Right.
Oh.
So you just never know. I mean, but for the majority of the time, yeah, I think I've great success. I mean, with the owners of the stores and the managers, and they're more than happy. I mean, they're moving product. I mean,
yeah.
And the more product they moved, I mean, the nicer they are. They're like, you get to know each other's name, and as soon as you walk in the door, they're saying, "Hello, Michael. How you doing
exactly.
today?" And
that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Wow. All right. So you mentioned this business hasn't always been easy. Well, it's never really easy. I would say it's simple. What we do is simple. You just got to find products that you can sell for a profit. Simple business model, but it's not easy. And you've had some obstacles. So talk about some of the things that you've dealt with in your business and how you've overcome them.
Yeah, we've gone through our share. That's for sure. So we started in 2008, 2011. We were flooded for the first time, and we were out of our house for an entire year.
Oh my gosh.
Still managed to do a little bit of the drop shipping. And then we were flooded again in 2019. And we were out of our house for a month, maybe 2 months. Gosh. And so we were moving right along at that point. And we got most of our products. We got all the products out. I still had quite a few boxes that were downstairs, but was able to find a building, an old farm building for us to be able to move into. We rented that space out while we were flooded. So the business continued on, and we continued to source and bring in products, and was able to get all of our distributors to still deliver then to this new address while we were flooded. And then also in 2019, we ended up getting our account suspended for almost 20 days.
Gosh.
And that was kind of rough. I mean, that might
be like was that the longest 20 days of your life?
It was, and right through Thanksgiving, and I didn't handle it well, for sure. I mean, it was kept checking. Amazon would take 4 days for a plan of action for a response.
Yeah.
And then we got their third denial on Thanksgiving Day. So it really was defeating. It was like, what are we going to do? So we had built a new building at that point, and had quite a bit of products on hand and products at Amazon. Yeah, it was pretty scary what we were going to do. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I know Amazon, sometimes it seems like they're sporadic. Did they tell you why that happened? And was it something that you should have seen coming, or was it just, they were just, press a button?
Well, I always like to look back and, take as much responsibility as I possibly can for whatever reason, and things that happened. I'm always kind of trying to reflect on, what I've done in the past and how I can make improvements. And, I felt like I was getting a little over too confident, maybe. One of the things that is taught that if there's only one person on a listing and it's been that way for a long period of time, it could very well be a private label item.
Okay.
You probably should stay away.
Yeah.
I found a popcorn cup that was branded by a brand, Carnival King, and another seller took those popcorn cups and made it his brand.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't follow any Amazon's guidelines to do that. And you can't really brand somebody else's brand.
Right.
And he turned me in for a counterfeit product over popcorn cups. Wow. That wasn't even his real brand. And so I think it was a bot maybe, but they took his word for it. And even then afterwards, he retracted his claim that, it was an authentic product. And, but it took a long time, for
gosh, that's so frustrating.
It was,
man. It was. But you got through it and you hit the $1 million mark this just earlier, just a few days ago.
Yes. Yep. Did just over 700,000 for 2019, and we're right there for 2020. Wow. So for the year to date. So yeah, awesome. We'll definitely be breaking $1 million for this year, 2020, for the first time.
That is so cool. My goodness.
been an exciting ride for sure. I mean, it's had its ups and its downs, some scary moments from here to there, but,
oh my gosh.
The Legends group has been an amazing group to be a part of. The camaraderie, the sharing of information, freely, and sharing highs and the lows.
Sure.
Love the conferences, the family reunions. We were able to, start a small little mastermind group there.
Yep.
There's 4 of us that we've been together now for 2 years. We haven't really gained traction as far as the 4 of us, doing something together in a direction, but each one of us have definitely had our successes, and I think stem from that group and those meetings that then we have once a week. Trying to keep each other accountable and sharing what we're doing in our businesses. And, one of the things that I think right at the beginning of 2018 when we joined, and I don't know why it wasn't making sense to me before. I mean, we had the grocery things going in with my distributors, and so that we were relying on those products. But then I was heavily into, chasing a lot of clearance items and trying to find those deals. And, there's that big buildup going into Q4 where you're really kind of, trying to hunt those things down. And then Danny said, now that Q4 is over with, don't stop sending stuff in. And I don't know, it just kind of clicked. I'm like, oh yeah. I need to still go out there and find all those, those things that are going on. And then it really kind of morphed into the replants, really that being the focus, because those deals are hard to find a lot of times on a consistent basis. Still maybe, that's a part of it, but now it's only, 95% of our business is replants.
Love it.
So
yeah, your grocery distributor relationship, those are replens. You went basically right to wholesale. That's a great example of a replen, something that you can source consistently and that sells consistently. So I love it. That is awesome. So what advice would you give? Well, last question here. Advice for new sellers or people who are just like, man, I want to be where Michael is. I want to have $1 million a year, or I just want to grow my business. So any thoughts, encouragement, advice you'd have for somebody that's not as far along as you?
Don't give up. It's real. And, because that's one of the things I was thinking about earlier. There's always a lot of hype and a lot of different, things that go along. You're like, is that really real? And can I do it? And, you try it for a little while and it doesn't exactly work out how you think it's going to. And, I've been listening to a business podcast here and on entrepreneurs. One of the things, they kind of talked about, is that it's going to take time. You really got to embrace the process. And just because you've been doing this for, 6 months or a year doesn't, mean that you deserve, to be successful. You got to put in, the grind. And he talks about, 10 years down the road, for a typical kind of entrepreneurship, brick and mortar or even online, that it's going to take a long time. You're not going to make, a lot of money for a while. But if you're diligent about, continue to learn the process and keep putting yourself out there and keep learning and keep growing, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yes, that's good advice. And I love that this business doesn't have to take that long. Yes, when you look around, you see, I have a buddy who owns a restaurant, and he's not going to expect to make a profit for a few years, which blows my mind. Like, I'm thankful that he has that restaurant because I love to eat, but it's like, that's just a whole other business model and something I'm just so glad that I can turn on my computer, list some products, they sell, I get money. So it doesn't have to take 10 years to be profitable, but yes, it's hard. It's not passive income. You'll laugh at this. I saw an Instagram list. Somebody was posting on Instagram saying ways to make money passively, and they listed an Amazon and eBay business as one of them. Like, gosh, well, maybe if you have a private label going and you have somebody else completely running it, I would not consider this business passive at all.
I haven't found that to be true yet. Maybe someday, but as you continue to grow and you're being successful, the other thing was, you're successful, your success is today. It's not what you did yesterday. It's not what you're going to do tomorrow. It's today. It's killing and it's winning today. So, well, I feel bad for your partner almost. I mean, I went to culinary school and I wanted to be a restaurant owner. And after I got done with culinary school, I was like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I learned too much information. That's a tough haul for sure.
That's tough. So, well, Michael, thank you so much for being on with me. I'm just, congratulations on your success. I love your story. I love that it's just sounds like you could boil it down to whatever it takes. And I love that attitude, and that's clearly got you to where you are. And congratulations, and thank you for sharing with us today.
You bet. Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, an honor to be on here, and after listening to all those stories over the years, I mean, you always think, could it be me someday? And, I was encouraged, and hopefully this would, even if only encourage one person, to get out there and to continue this on, be very happy and grateful for that. So thank you. I appreciate all that you do and the friendship that we've, built over the years, and, looking forward to the future.
So. That's right. Amen. My pleasure.
Amen.
Talk to you later, buddy.
All right. Take care, Ryan.